Cheers, y'all. It's your girl B. Dillon coming at you with part 5 of my mini series on Cinco de Mayo, where we explored a little bit more about the history of tequila, about how Cinco de Mayo came to be in Mexico, and now we're going to experience a little bit more about the history of how it became a part of the pop culture in America. So, if you've been drinking along with me, cheers. Hope you guys are enjoying responsibly. If you're out there staying boozy, hope you're having a great Cinco de Mayo. And let's go ahead and just kind of recap. So we started off by learning a little bit more about what tequila was, which is a liquor that's derived from the fructose syrup of the tequila agave plant, the blue tequila plant. I said the blue tequila, the blue agave plant to be precise. And we learned a little bit more about its history through first the Olmecs in 1000 BC to the Aztecs 1800 AD. Then we learned a little bit more about the colonization of the Spaniards into Mexico, or South America as it was at the time, and how tequila ended up becoming a much more refined beverage, first as mezcal, and then as the tequila that we know it as today. Then we progressed on into a little more history about exactly how tequila was introduced into America. We found out that in between the 1920s and 1933, during alcohol prohibition, tequila became a very popular drink for Americans to consume. And we also found out that it was in one of these small bars in Tijuana that we first see the advent or the invention of the margarita, either as the Little Daisy in 1936 or just as a nice drink to satisfy a complicated customer in 1938. Either way, we're caught up on the history of tequila, and we also know that the history of Cinco de Mayo is celebrated because of the battle in Puebla, Mexico in 1862, where the Mexicans, with only 2,000 forces against France's 6,000, was able to repel them and stop them from taking over the town, and only lost 100 soldiers. So, claps to them, big ups to Mexico. We now come into modern day culture. Now, one thing that is important to understand is, much like champagne can only come from Champagne, France if it's going to be genuine, tequila can only come from Mexico if it's going to be genuine tequila. So just so you know that when you're getting tequila, it has to come from a family or a distillery in Mexico. And that's why we have the Cuervo families and the Suaza families out there doing it big for us. But how did it become a part of the pop culture in America? Well, it's actually quite simple. So, 1862 comes along, and we've got this battle in Puebla, and we see that the Mexicans have a victory. And of course, Mexican Americans, people living in Texas, people living in New Mexico, people living in America in general, who had heard about this battle, they wanted to support their family. They understood how important this win was for them and how important it would be in the long term. And so they started off by, it was actually Puebla Day. And so they started off by celebrating this day called Puebla Day. And of course, tequila is imbibed because that is a native beverage to the country, as well as great food is served and families come together, and they're just celebrating the fact that as a country, they're becoming stronger, and they're showing that they won't be bullied. They just won't be left behind in history and overtaken by colonialism and turned into something different. Not that that already hasn't happened or hadn't happened to them, but they were determined that it wasn't going to happen a second time, right? So moving forward, that doesn't really kick into too much popularity. I mean, you've got California, a lot of the Mexican population is celebrating it there. So it becomes kind of a popular day or event there for Mexican people who understand what it's about to celebrate. But it's not really that big on the scene of pop culture until the 1970s, when American beer companies who were looking to be able to up their marketing, found out about this day. Now, excuse me, I've had one too many of these already, I'm guessing. Now, as you do when you're trying to market something and you don't really need it to be the most historically factual event, but you do kind of need to have some kind of information or background, the American beer companies found out about, the 5th of May and what happened in 1862 in Mexico and why it was a big celebration, why Puebla Day was being celebrated, and they go, okay, we're going to market this. We're going to pick up on this. We're going to make this into a thing. And that's exactly what they do. So now they're honing in on this celebration. You've got cervezas, you've got modelos being served, you've got your Coronas. coronavirus, but no, I'm just playing. But you've got Coronas being served out there, and you've got people who are now celebrating because the American beer companies are hyping this day. They're like, if you're not celebrating Cinco de Mayo, if you're not pumping up your Spanish brothers and sisters, then what the heck are you doing, right? So we've already got this drink, the margarita, that came about in Tijuana, Mexico. People are drinking that. You mix that with beer consumption, you mix that with a huge marketing tactic, and what do you get? You get Cinco de Mayo as we know it today, which is the wonderful holiday that you're celebrating with me. So if you enjoyed this series, if you enjoyed learning a little bit more about the history behind Cinco de Mayo, the history behind tequila, and just getting a better understanding of some of the things that we like to enjoy, some of the things I know I like to enjoy, definitely like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Let me know what you think, what your thoughts are. If you have any suggestions for new videos that I should be doing, if there are any holidays coming up, I definitely plan on doing a lot more, diving into the history of alcohol, the history of tattoos. Your girl just got some new ink recently. So there's a lot of stuff going on that I definitely want to bring new videos out about, and your input is very important to me. So don't forget, like I said, to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're getting boozy with me today, if you're drinking along with me, cheers, and don't forget to do so responsibly. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next series that I do.